Poodle family, here we go. It is Wednesday again. We are live, and we have my favorite kind of episode, and it's the episode where I bring in a guest so that I don't just have to blabber on for 30 minutes. So those are always my favorites. We actually have a great one. What we're going to talk about is the, oh, Susan, good to see you back on the chat. I don't know, how many is it, 11 in a row or so? So good. What I want, so we have an exchange partner coming in today. We're going to have StealthX, and we're going to talk about our exchange partners. A lot of the things, if you've been watching this token lately, you have recognized how we've been able to expand the way you can load your bags up. So we're going to talk about the exchange. We've got Maria here. It's going to be fantastic conversation. And so I don't want to oh, there we go. And she's in the chat too. All right. we have Stealth in the chat with Maria. All right. So if you want to ask anything, make sure you go in the chat and we'll have some good conversations there. So I'm taking over doing some Poodle Olympics drawings. So before we bring that in, we're going to do this right away. Okay. So Poodle Olympics for our top shillers this week. It was actually two draws for each person. So Iconizer, Sensi, and Artur each got two, but because I can do math, I actually need to put one little thing on there. And here we go. So this is our Poodle Olympics right off the top. And first place for this week is Artur coming up in first place. There you go. Congratulations. That is some amount of poodle. That much I know. And then, here we go. Coming up next in second place will be... I need a drum roll. I need to get a drum roll. Sensi in second place for this week. And then, of course, just for the fun of it, let's see who comes in third place, just for the fun of it. It might be Iconizer in third place for the Poodle Olympics for this week. So we got that over with. So congratulations, Artur, Sensi, and Iconizer. A couple of quick things. Oh, you don't want to see that. Well, actually, you probably see that rather than me. A couple of few things. Obviously, keep getting out there. We've got big things. We love seeing our shill team out there doing the work they do. So that being said, let's do this. Let's get our special guest in here. Give me one. All right, and I'm gonna watch the chat. So we've every now and then. Maria, welcome to the show.
Hello. Yeah, I'm just seeing myself lagging on the screen, and it's so interesting.
I know.
Hi, guys.
I know. I told you it's like 15, 20 seconds behind. We actually don't look. Actually, we're probably in about 12 seconds behind, but it's weird. You have to kind of not watch it. Every now and then I start watching the delay, and there we go. So hopefully people can hear you. Last time we had a Zoom on, it was hard to hear. So we're going to wait, and I know if people say they can't hear you, then we'll know. I don't know what happens, but I think we're all good this time. All right. So I guess with no further ado, please tell us just a little bit about first you, and then the second parter, tell us about StealthX. So let's just start. What is your history in crypto?
Okay, so I probably should start with introducing myself like a normal person. My name is Maria Carola. I am Chief Marketing Officer of StealthX. And well, should I start with my own personal history first? Okay.
Yeah, let's just hear about you. We're all a family. We're a Poodle fam, so we like the people. We love the people. Mm-hmm.
I love the people. Actually, you're all lovely people. And hi to everyone in the chat, by the way, because I can't type and talk at the same time because I'm slow. That is normal for people from the Baltic states, as far as I understand. I am in crypto for, I don't know how many years now. It's 5 years probably, or no, actually it's 6 years, because right now I'm 25 and I started when I was 19. And I started off as a copywriter for other companies, not StealthX. And I was writing about Bitcoin, about Ethereum, about all this stuff. And it was so interesting that one day I got called to work in marketing, which was totally not my thing. But as you might find out, then not your thing actually becomes your full-time profession sometimes. And so now here we go. I'm Chief Marketing Officer of different companies for I don't know, 4 years now, or no, a little bit less probably, but in Starbucks I'm for a year. And right now it's my occupation, my passion, and my love, and other things. And yeah, we're doing lots of things that are mostly working with tokens that we support for exchange, because Steldex is an instant cryptocurrency exchange, which is pretty much older than I have been working there. It's been established in 2018 and started working back then, but it was like kind of low key before, and right now it's just rapidly developing marketing wise, and like acquiring all these fantastic coin families and doing a lot of this like activities, the things that we love. So that has been happening for like a little bit over a year. So it's exciting every time we go out like that.
Yeah, that is awesome. So your actual position is what chief your marketing. Your exact title with StealthX is
Chief Marketing Officer.
Awesome, awesome. So before we went live, you were saying you actually got your start right now about cars and stuff, not actually crypto.
Yeah. Like it was my first job. It was so ridiculous. Like I was in school, actually. It wasn't even the university, and I really wanted to have like nice stuff, like clothes and shoes and all the other things. And I found out that I cannot actually do anything besides writing. So I started writing for a magazine that was like covering all the different sorts of like cars and test drives and things like that. And obviously I was 15 and could not have driver's license by like any means. And actually I have never seen any of these cars. There was just one creepy guy that called me up and said like, okay, you need to write this, but like in normal words. So that was my first job. I did this for like, I don't know, a year maybe. And it brought like good money. And I got so excited that, oh, you can do like basically next to nothing and just put words together and earn money. But then I got kind of disappointed because that couldn't last forever.
Yeah. I love that then you transition in and you get into crypto. So talk a little bit about, so let me preface the question. One thing that what we're proud of as a token is like we have our Poodle Academy, where we really like to educate our token owners. I mean, yes, it is an investment, right? Of course it's an investment. It's cryptocurrency. But we love the education side. So talk a little bit like your education. If you started, 4 or 5 years ago, first off, crypto's changed a lot in 4 to 5 years. Talk a little bit about that and your journey through that and learning.
Oh, that was so challenging, to be honest. Like sometimes I just started to remember things and I'm like, oh wow, like people have it so much better these days. Because when I started, it was super random. Just a friend of a friend said like, okay, you can write a couple articles about like Bitcoin and stuff. And I had no idea what Bitcoin is or what blockchain is, because I was mostly like into literature and like poetry and history, which is like more close to my university specs, let's put it this way. And then I just had to find out everything by myself. And I was living without internet or telephone for 4 years when I was in university. So that was kind of like tough to get back to this normal life. I don't know why I did that. Like it was some kind of a rebellion act. But yeah, I had to just Google everything. Like at first I started like, okay, what is Bitcoin? And then it just popped up and I was like, oh, that's so complicated. And the more I tried to understand it, because obviously there was no community that could help me with that, because it's just, I didn't know it exists. And I had to either ask this like friend of a friend to just help me sort this out, or just try to find the information for myself. And like 50% of the information that I found was like horribly wrong. So the articles that I wrote at first were like probably 70% horribly wrong. But then you start learning, and mostly I think I just started learning when I started really working in marketing, because you have to do it every day. It's not just one article per week or something like that. You just have to communicate all the time. You have to learn new things. And for me, it's important to actually find out how products work. So I used to work for a cryptocurrency wallet, for example. If you don't know how it works, then you're really bad in marketing. You don't even know what we were talking about. So I believe that's kind of important to at least know on a basic level, probably not like coding, but just how the technology works as such, so you can promote it. So that's, I try to actually like kind of put it to my team as well. So like you have to have a little bit of knowledge, but now it's so much easier. Like you have the academy, many other projects have academies. There's so much info and you just drown in it. It's just your good job to kind of filter that out and do your best to kind of like put it through you.
Yep. Yeah. So, okay. So with that now, and I love that because I think that understanding how this works, which is kind of the reason even this podcast exists, is to talk to our community, to be able to say, okay, maybe I can give you a little bit of education every week. We can learn from people, experts like yourself. So now, let's talk about StealthX. What exactly is it? How does it work? How does that, how does that apply to us as Poodle holders and buyers?
It's actually very simple. It's an instant cryptocurrency exchange, so we don't require registration, and we support many assets for like instant swaps. So it's not like Binance where you have to get the account, but it's an instant platform where you just put the wallet in that already exists. So you have to have a wallet. That's the only requirement, basically. And you go there, you put one asset, you put another asset, then you swap them to one another. So that's the very simple explanation of what we do. But the good thing that right now we support actually over 400 assets, and we do cross-chain swaps, which is very demanded in the community right now. And we do it registration free, which is a pretty good thing as well. We try to put several options together. So we also have the fiat purchase that's quite limited right now, but we will be expanding it in the future as well. So you can buy lots of coins with fiat money as well. But right now, the most kind of developed and aggregated part is the crypto to crypto swaps.
Great. And then, and so walk us through. So if I were someone who wanted to do this, I'm just going to put my wallet that's holding, say, my Bitcoin, my Binance, wherever I want to use, or whatever token I'm going to get rid of. And then I put that there, and I'm going to select this, and I'm going to select I want to buy Poodle, and that's it. Just go.
Yeah, basically, it's like you want to have your Bitcoin exchanged for Poodle, for example. So you go to StealthX, you select the amount of Bitcoin you would like to exchange for Poodle, like 1 Bitcoin, and then you see the amount of Poodle that you're going to get. Then press, this is what I want to get. Put your Poodle address, and you're good to go. Just send the deposit in, and we'll proceed the swap for you, and you will receive the funds to the address that you put in.
Great. And what is the total time frame it takes for a transaction?
Well, it really depends on the network you choose. So some are slower, some are faster, but usually it's not more than 30 minutes. 30 minutes is like super, super slow. So like if Ethereum is super congested, that happens when like there are lots of transactions, like the gas fees are insane. That can happen, but usually it's like 15-ish.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Now, what type of fees are applied to the transactions? Is it direct for whatever it is, or how? So what would the difference be between, like, why would I want to go straight from like one to the other? Like, I love the cross chain. We're going to get to that in a minute, but what would the fees be like for somebody?
So there are transaction fees. Cannot get rid of those. Like
welcome to crypto. Yep.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That was shocking to me when I just started on crypto. I always forgot to kind of like calculate them, and it was like, why is everything wrong? But yeah, transaction fees are there. Also, there is 0.4 standard fee, which can be technically eliminated by a partner if they use our API. But I have never heard of such a thing.
Okay, and then that just gets done within the transaction, and you see the Poodle appear in your wallet whenever that gets done. So then talk a little bit about, because I know, and actually even educators, they don't have to be along with this. A lot of people are confused as to what the different chains are. Like, so for example, way back, originally this token, before we saved it from the rug pull, was originally on ETH, right? And then we saved it and we moved it over to Binance Smart Chain. A lot of people don't understand what the difference of different chains. Can you just speak to that? And then, one, what is it? And then why does something like this that allows you to go from one to the other important and to make it done that way easily?
I feel like back in school. Like I haven't explained things to people for quite some time. Okay, so I'll probably start like I do with my father. I actually have to explain a lot of good things about crypto to him. He's very interested right now, actually. He wants to make his own NFT collection, which is pretty cool, I think. So about different chains in cryptocurrencies, there are generally different platforms that they can be issued on. So there is Ethereum that you have already mentioned that Poodle used to be on, which is generally a fantastic story, which is a big platform for many, many tokens. Now, probably the second best or probably first best actually is Binance chain, where you have lots of tokens as well. There's Bitcoin, there are like Monero, there are many, many, many other chains. Actually, like I'm not going to name all of them because then we're not going to fit into the time frame. But all of them are platforms for assets and platforms for contracts, at least some of them, that can hold tokens. And the problem is that not many, like it used to be a problem before, at least, that you cannot actually move an asset from one chain to another because they're kind of like two roads that go into parallels, but they do not cross in any ways. So bridges from one chain to another chain gained their popularity like some time ago. Actually, I don't even remember how much time ago. I've heard about it like 3 years ago already. And I think cross-chain as a term became popular kind of like back then. But it used to be very complex because you had to like build separate infrastructure to actually swap from one another. But with swap services, especially instant swap services, it becomes kind of easier because we use the liquidity to just like put one asset to another asset without having to build this bridge. So cross-chain swaps in terms of protocols, the DEXs, it can be a little bit more complex, but with instant exchanges, it is not. So that's pretty much everything that people need to know, that right now bridging is kind of less complex.
Yeah. And see, I think
I'm horrible at explaining.
You know what? That actually, that was really good because like to me, you know, like when you try to take somebody new, you're like you can't. It's hard to explain to someone, and you know, like I say, you know, I'm sure they see if I'm wearing a little poodle shirt or I'm saying getting this, or they'll see me post and like, oh, how do I go buy it? Do I just open up my Coinbase app and go buy it? I'm like, well, it's not quite that easy. You know, you got to do this, and you got to go buy this, and you got to buy your buy, and then you got to go buy the, you know, and you're kind of taking them through steps, and they're lost. They don't even understand it in the first place. Nonetheless, if you have like 6 or 7 steps. So I think this is where it's great having exchanges like yours, because it is easy for people, for example, to buy Bitcoin. You can practically buy it with your bank account now, right? Like, and this is especially here in the States, we're starting to see it become easy. You can buy it on most of your investing apps, and then that means you have a wallet, right? And if you can open that up, now you can go straight to it and have, you know, and if you can as simply as open it up, you know, get your DeFi wallet and start an account, you can make this change happen, because it is easy to buy ETH and buy, you know, Bitcoin and those. And I think that that's what I love about it, is that it gives a really easy point into other tokens that might have had a lot of steps. So now you can have people invest, and then they can take the time to learn how that actually all happened, and then start to learn to become, you know, more developed investors. So that's what I love about things like this. I don't know if there was a question.
Yeah, it is way easier now. This is like, it cannot even compare, because you don't have to have this any intermediary assets. Like if I need this, then I need to buy that to swap it to this with any other platform. The only thing that can be kind of challenging still is wallets, because they don't support all the stuff usually, but like multi-currency wallets are still here. The only thing that they still don't support all the stuff that some people need.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think that's going to be solved very soon as well.
Yeah, it has to be too. I mean, I think that this is what we're all wanting, and it will get there. And if you think about it, crypto really isn't that old, right? So how far we've come in a short time. All right, we've got a question from the audience. Sasha asks, so you got one straight from the man himself. Here we go. Sasha asks, does Maria, that's you, see instant exchanges as virtually eliminating the need for true bridges, or just pegging to multiple chains?
Wow. I don't think that I've ever heard or thought about it, to be honest. I don't think that it actually needs to eliminate the bridges. whatsoever, because instant exchanges are good, but I don't think that they can do everything. There are still assets that we cannot reach because we need to list all of these assets, and it's kind of like a tough process. We go through hell when listing assets, because we have to eliminate the risks. We have to weigh in the pros, the cons, to see how the community is, all this stuff. And like many of the assets actually get kind of, I don't know what this movement with hands are, but like, I don't know, postponed, probably that's the best kind of way to describe that. But yeah, it's probably, like I'm reading now the Ethereum bridge. Yeah, Ethereum bridge probably it is. Like there will still be some people who are into that, but with instant exchanges, at least it's easier.
Yeah.
Well, so I guess that if it comes to just ease of use, then you could say that it eliminates the bridge.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Well, and I think that that's where you have, your technologies and the way you work and the way the exchange, with the way each blockchain works. I mean, I think every chain recognizes the need to easily work with other chains, right? Just because that's the nature of it. And while you might have a lot of, centralized exchanges, right, that want to control, and you don't really have to know that these are multiple blockchains and stuff like that. I think as the actual change themselves, the actual coins themselves recognize that people don't just go and invest in one. Or if you're going to have an NFT, it might live on one and you want to use it in another. And so I don't know. I think that that's where there is opportunity for you all, even as your technology is good. And likewise, the chains are probably going to make it easier for people like you to make it easier for people to send things across the chains too. You would hope, right? I mean, that's kind of...
Yeah, that's true. Actually, there's one thing that I disagree, that people kind of want to have different cryptocurrencies. Actually, in the past several days with the crisis and with all of that, there are so many people who just called me or texted me and just wanted to buy Bitcoin. They don't even know, they don't want to know anything else. They just consider it some kind of a long-term investment. They don't want to play with crypto, try to invest. They just want to have this safe haven in Bitcoin. And so I'm not sure that they're gonna ever go to such things as bridges and all this stuff. They're no. But I guess that's just some percentage. Of course, people who use cryptocurrency and who need all of these facilities, that's gonna make their life easier.
Yeah, so actually, you make a good point, and I'm gonna, I'm more interested in your opinion here, and I'm afraid the chat's gonna go crazy when I ask the question, but I'm gonna ask. We have this horrible war going on right now, right? And I will say an unjust war going on right now. And we see how, like you just said, that people are wanting to go to Bitcoin. Is it because people see it as safe, or they see it as, I don't know, the future? I mean, why is that the case? I mean, can you kind of guess into what that is?
Yeah, I can, because most of the people who are ever asking me about investment should be insane. That's the first thing. That's the first thing. But another thing, I believe that they're just so afraid that their national currency is gonna flop, because some of them are using ruble. That ruble is flopping. It's undoubted. It's in horrible conditions. So people in Ukraine who are using, I actually don't know how to pronounce that correctly, hryvnia. I guess that's the correct name of the currency. They believe the same, so they can just kind of probably Bitcoin. They consider it as an easier way out than buying dollars, because buying dollars, you have to go to some kind of exchange or to some guy, or go somewhere. It means movement, physical movement. So you just need this cash or something on the card, and it's traceable. And Bitcoin, of course, we all know that Bitcoin is not private as cryptocurrency. It's super transparent. But people who are using cash or banking cards for all their life who have never thought about cryptocurrency think that Bitcoin is like stealth money, like it just go and it disappears completely. And so from this point, I guess they consider it as kind of like a way out to just keep it, because they don't want to play on the rates. They don't want to trade. They just want to keep. So that's a totally different purpose of funds. And when I was a kid, it used to be like very post-Soviet, because I'm from Lithuania, for everybody who didn't know that. And I think I didn't say that, so nobody knew that. And it was the same with like dollars, and like people would keep the cash just to keep themselves from like inflation and all this stuff like that. It used to be just in a literal like jar or in the book and stuff like that. So my grandma used to do like that, and it's a perfectly natural way of behavior when you want to save money. And I think that right now Bitcoin is considered to be this way too. I'm not sure that they super kind of understand what they're doing though, but well, from their perspective, it might be safer.
Yeah.
I've never heard inquiries like this from people who are like in the stage right now. They don't ask that. I have a bunch of people from the stage who I'm like messaging with, my friends and stuff like that. They don't need that. The same as with Europe. Like they don't consider that much of a safe haven. It's like Venezuela. Like that the situation is the same. Like your national currency is going to like ruins, and you just go to Bitcoin.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I think you are absolutely right, and I hate, there's no good out of this war, but I also sit there and go, look at how the world changed due to COVID. Nothing was great about COVID, but look how connected the world came, and using like we're connecting here on Zoom, right? Things that really took off can come out of tragedies. And so if you look at, this war, as people are now going, okay, my money might not be safe because my ruble is getting destroyed on the global markets. And then also, if, something were to happen to Ukraine, their currency becomes worthless if they were taken over, right? So there's such risk in both sides of it that to say, okay, well, what is something that can live beyond me and live beyond my borders, right? And, the United States used to be the place for that, but we're not on the gold standard anymore. The United States, even our own government is looking at, they're one of the largest holders of Bitcoin in the world, right? Well, why? Because we got to stabilize somewhere. And I think that maybe as we look at, that, part of the only 3% of the world, right, uses crypto. Well, maybe after this and seeing what Russia has done, maybe that grows to 4 or 5%, maybe 6%, right? Maybe people sit there and go, oh, maybe I have to look at another way to store and use currency, and it might be that way for transactionally. But then maybe that opens up later when people go, okay, I want to buy an NFT. Well, what do I buy that with? Okay, well, I need to swap my Bitcoin to Ethereum or Binance or some other thing to buy this thing, this whatever, right? So maybe it becomes, it's kind of the entry drug, right? It's your little gateway drug into other things. But maybe that's what we need to finally show people what we've been talking about for years, right?
Yeah, probably. Like, I don't want to market any kind of technology based on war. This is horrible, and like that's wrong, and it should never happen. But this kind of like horrible events, like COVID was a horrible event. Like so many people died, and like so many people went with like insane health conditions afterwards. So like my whole family had COVID, and some of us didn't survive that. So like it's very bad. But yeah, we learned new ways, and we learned something out of that. I'm not saying that wars should be this way as well, but it changed lives of so many people, and it changed the perspectives of so many people, like people who didn't think something like this could happen ever. So probably it will kind of make this sort of shift somewhere as well, to look some other way, to at least like know other things, because like we can't trust anybody anymore. And yeah, Bitcoin is good for kind of like this other perspective. because if it's not supported by the government, like Lithuania is kind of chill with that, to be honest. They're okay with crypto businesses and they have a tax and all of that. But other governments are not like that. So this is something new, and this can be, right now it is safe haven for people who consider it still illegal maybe at some point too, because like they know that they're not going to get like prosecuted for that or something like that. Unlike dollars or euros, stuff like this. But after this kind of is in the past, then probably it will be kind of demarginalized. And that would be very cool, because that would be many, many people who actually look our way.
Yeah, I love that. I love that word, demarginalized, because I think that that's one of the things that I've always talked about. Like, crypto to me is a great equalizer, and it creates equity for everybody, right? There's opportunity, there's safety, even if it is taxed. Like I mean, there's a whole, obviously even crypto people wondering, well, you tax it, is it free, is it mine, and I put away and government stay away. Even if it becomes just a curse, that gets taxed and used and you get paid in it and all this, like anything else, I think that's fine. But I think the ability to have something that is stable and controlled by you is huge. And I think that when we see tragedies like that, that's what we do as people and as humans. We go, okay, well, we get comfortable in life. But then all of a sudden, when our world gets rocked by a war or COVID, a global pandemic, all of a sudden other things become more important, right? And you start thinking about things you never thought of. And you look other places. And I think that's where, I like you said, you never want to use a tragedy to say something is good, but good can come out of tragedy, right? It can. And that's where you hope that we can use, and as a crypto community, we can support people, and in that way.
Yeah. And we should be united for that time. And like, we should spread the word too. We should spread the word of help, because we can help. Other people can't, actually, because like cash and like bank transfers can be absolutely useless in cases like this, but crypto still works. It's like Bitcoin still works, it still runs, and that's what's really good about it.
Yeah, and it's interesting because you make a good point. Like, if I wanted to send money to someone who's a refugee or something, well, I don't know where they are. I don't know can they get to a bank? Would a bank even be closed? Is a military person stopping people, or are they getting robbed if they take the money? But if I can send it to one of their wallets, that's a big difference. I can help someone directly with a direct transfer, or whatever. I think that there's so much good we all believe in crypto. We always have. We wouldn't be talking right now and having an audience listening if we didn't. So I want to go back then. Let's circle back to Poodle. Let's circle back to, and just your question. I mean, actually kind of coming out of this then, as people look, to, to the future, maybe using cryptos, using tokens as either financial or just the utilities behind it. What do you look for in a community, like especially as a company, as Stealth Action? You go, okay, you have, at some point, someone has to decide which tokens people can swap between. What do you look for? What makes the difference? And you see a lot of tokens. And I don't want you just to say good things about Poodle. I mean, I do, but you don't just have to. But is there something that you go, okay, that stands out, or this is what we look for and therefore we list it?
When we evaluate the tokens, like before we have them on the platform, then of course there are many things. Like, first, it has to be not scammy. That's very essential. And then we'll look at market cap, so how many people trade it, how many addresses hold it, just to make sure that it's like viable for us. Okay, that's still business. But after this has passed, so we know that there is a technical, oh my god, I'm gonna sneeze, sorry. No, I'm not gonna, okay, forget about it. Then if there is a technical ability to list the token, then I go to the community and see how active it is, how non-toxic it is. Actually, that was a big part of what Sasha and I discussed. So we don't like toxic people. None of us do. And if we see a supportive community that's welcoming new services, that is good. So we do stuff like that with you, which is fantastic. And this is a very big thing that we really value in the project that we support, that we can do all these activities together, and we can encourage the audience, and we can have people like talk about it afterwards and share it. And obviously this is all super marketing wise, and the more of this is happening, the better. So the activity of the community, the friendliness of the community, how willingly people are spreading the news, they're supporting. This is all super, super important. Can't say anything bad about Poodle so far. So that's, I'm not gonna be like very kind of, you're the best, but you guys are. So.
We know we are. It's okay. You don't have to say it. We know it. No, I'm just kidding. No, but I think that though that's the key though is he was snooping on our Telegram. That's cute. So that was some good conversation going there in the chat. But I think that again, we as a community believe in our community, and we actually, we have no tolerance for misogyny. We have no tolerance for racism. We have no tolerance, especially on our Telegram, for any human who wants to mistreat another human. Right? That's a core value of ours that we want to stand behind us, and that's why we love who we are. And we see, I think a lot of people who became to Poodle came there because they were on other tokens that were toxic, and that they could see the Telegram and that just didn't feel right. And one of the things that I always say, and all the audience has heard me say this over and over, I would never want to invest in something if I couldn't trust my wife and daughter to go and look on that Telegram and be proud of the community I'm involved in, right? And a lot of them you go to and you see things that are just disgusting. And I wouldn't want to leave that open on my desk, right? And that's where I draw the line and why I love this community. So to get to a question in that, how about I love to always, so as we start to think about closing up the show, I always kind of end with advice and takeaways. You live on the outside. You evaluate tons of tokens. You deal with other things, right? You see a lot from outside a community. You already said that we're your favorite, so we know that. But no, what is advice for us to take the next step, right? We're all, let's be honest. We're all waiting for the 100x, the mooning, the rocket. We know it takes time. But from the outside, what is some tips that as a community we can do for that next step?
Ooh. Well, I'm not sure that if I should start with I don't know, the ways to promote Poodle. That would come with extra tips as a professional. No, I'm joking. Obviously not. But I think that you guys should keep up the good job. You're really very welcoming, and it's really important for the projects that support Poodle. So we're in exchange. Our very first goal is to be kind of self-sufficient and earn money and do all of this stuff. So it's not only about the beautiful decentralized world, but obviously we all know that we have to do business, otherwise we would close. And doing all of these activities, doing all of this super welcoming messages of supporting the community, welcoming new services, willing to do all the marketing stuff with them, supporting them with links, articles, podcasts, shows, spaces. Thanks, Sasha. Whatever. It is amazing. Keep this up. I hope you don't get a burnout from that, because I know that it requires a lot of energy, and having all these people go on and do this stuff. But if you continue doing that, if you continue showing this amazing activity, I believe that will be really, really big. So if you just keep doing that, stay kind, stay focused, and stay as active as you are right now. Those are 3 pieces of advice. Basically, you all do them already, but if you enhance them, that's going to be so I believe that that's the key.
I love that. Stay active, stay kind, stay focused. I think that is the I'm writing this down. Okay. That's but I think that is really, really important. Right. And, I love that. And, I love the fact that I hope to think that we have been doing the right thing, and we have a community who really believes in this. And that's what draws us to it and keeps us doing it. I've always said early on, you know, when I first, like I started this is episode 40. So 40 weeks ago, and it was May 24th was the first episode of this last year. And back at that time, everyone was really proud. There was, remember, that was like really that hype of there's a new token now and another new token. It's like everyone was touting new, but I was always saying, no, be the one who's still there in a year, right? Because how many have failed? But if you're the one who's still there, then that shows something, right? And that's where I love your advice, because I think that's exactly what the community needs to hear. It's like, we're doing it. We're doing the right things. Just keep doing, keep pushing forward, and everything comes. So.
Yeah, that's true. Community is like a family. Like everybody should stay together and stick together. And the more time actually passes, the more you value it. So
yeah.
I believe that's quite key. I know that right now is like very challenging times for everybody. Like I've been super emotional and like super heartbroken all the time, but you guys just keep pushing and everything will be all right. I know that it's going to be all right.
I love it. I love it. Well, Maria, thank you very much for coming on the show. Just to close up, so everyone, it's stealthx.io. It's really easy, stealthx.io. You can also, you know, go to our site. We've got everything linked. You go to it. You can do everything there. But how can people, if someone wants to connect with you, what's the Twitters, what's the whatever, you know, how can they connect with you, ask questions, and just get more info on StealthX?
Okay, so if you actually go to the website, you can go like down the page, scroll it, and there are all the Telegram chats. There's Twitter, there's Reddit, so whatever platform you prefer. But also, if you just type down in Telegram stealthx.io, you're going to find two chats. One of them is the announcement chat, and the other one is the community chat, where you can always find me. I'm going to be there to answer all your questions. You're going to have my lovely colleagues there. His name is Nina and Ben. They're always there for you as well. And like, be sure that we're going to answer you.
Yep. I love it. Again, thank you very much. You and your platform and you personally are a blessing to our community. And so I thank you very, very much for your time and just all that you do. So I appreciate you coming on the show. All right.
That's so lovely.
Thank you. And so everyone, hopefully you enjoyed this episode of the show. Oh my gosh. Thank you so much, Maria. This was fantastic. And I love the episodes where I've just got brilliant people. I mean, it's not hard to find anyone smarter than me because everyone is. But when you got really brilliant people like Maria coming on and just to educate us and really talk about not just the product, but crypto, and we get that value out of it, is just, to me, just a huge asset. So again, thanks again. And to you all, Poodle fam, we will see you next week for another great episode. Have a great week, everyone. Love you, Poodle fam.